Hey guys, this video is going to go over how to solve two-step equations. Some steps for how we're going to solve two-step equations is we're basically going to be working backwards from what the original equation gives us. The first thing we're going to do when we go backwards is try to add or subtract, and then the second step we're going to do is multiply or divide. Here's our first example. It says negative 5x plus 8 equals negative 7. The first thing that I do whenever I solve an equation is I split it in half. I have the left side, which was the problem, and the right side, which is the solution. What I'm trying to figure out is negative 5 times something, and then I add 8 more to it, and I get to negative 7. So my first step is I'm going to add or subtract, but I need to go backwards. So the opposite of doing add 8 or positive 8 is negative 8. So I'm going to write negative 8. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the opposite side. So I need to put negative 8 on both the left and the right side. Once I do that, negative 8 and positive 8, these cancel each other out, so they get rid of one another. I can cross that out if I want, or I could leave it there. It's up to you. But I do need to go on the right side and say if I have negative 7 and now I have negative 8, or I'm putting those together, these two are both negative. So really you should add them together. That makes negative 15. Then over here on the left side, I still have this negative 5x, so I'm going to bring it down. Negative 5 times something is negative 15. If you could figure that out on your own, what do you multiply with negative 5 to get negative 15? Awesome, you say the answer, but if not, your second step would be to do the opposite of multiply, which is now divide by negative 5. Okay, divide by negative 5. If you write it sideways, it looks like this. Negative 5 divided into negative 15. And that would be 3. So I'm going to say x equals 3. Now, once I get to this bottom thing, I need to also know, is the answer going to be positive or negative? When you look back in the problem, the first number that I was working with in my division was negative 5. The second number I was working with was negative 15. If I have two negatives, negative 5, negative 15, those end up making a positive. So my answer would be positive 3. X equals positive 3. All right, second example. This is negative 13 equals 11 plus 3x. What do you guys notice is different about this equation compared to the one before? Hopefully you're saying that the question part was on the right side, or the variable was on the right side and only the answer was on the left side. So it doesn't really matter which way they set it up. We're still going to solve it the same way. Step 1, separate your equation into the left and right side. Step 2, decide if you should add or subtract. I am not going to worry about the variable right now, and this plus sign goes with this 3x. So what I need to focus on is this regular constant number right here, 11. 11 is a positive number because it has no symbol in front of it. The opposite of positive 11 is negative 11. So I am going to write negative 11 underneath it to cancel it out. I'm working backwards. Whatever you do to the right side, I need to do to the left side. Again, we're trying to get this to cancel out and become 0. On this side, I have negative 13 and negative 11. If they're both the same sign, I should add them together. Okay? If they were different signs, I would subtract. But these are both negative, so I should add. It's not always going to be that way, so watch out for your symbols. if you have negative 13 and negative 11, that makes negative 24. So let's put that in. Negative 24. Then on this right side, I still have positive 3x, so I'm going to bring that down. Positive 3x. Now, this is telling me that 3 times something is negative 24. So the opposite of multiply is divide. So I would have to say divide by 3, divide by 3. If you want to write it sideways, it looks like this. 3 divided into 24 is 8. It goes in perfectly. So then I'm going to say that x equals 8. If I check this to see if my final answer is going to be positive or negative, and I look out here, my division problem, 24 was negative. Negative 24. 3 was positive. And then my answer would be what is left over, which is 8. So my final answer is negative 8. X is negative 8. Okay, guys, here's a picture of me and my daughter Avery. I miss you. I honestly do miss you guys at school. I hope you all had a great spring break. Make sure you post something in Canvas on our good news for the week, since we're doing at-home online learning. And I will see you soon, hopefully.